Howdy folks, quick bonus video for you today. I had originally intended to try to spin this out into a full proper video, but well, I really couldn't justify it. This is definitely bonus video material. This is the World of Tanks test server. For the couple of days that it was up, there were no new maps, there were no new tanks. All it was testing out the new motion physics. Now, this isn't the first time that I've done a motion physics video for World of Tanks, and the last time I did one, there were the inevitable cries of outrage in the comments that, oh my god, what's going on here? World of Tanks is turning into War Thunder. Real tanks don't move like that. Well, actually they do. An extreme, if amusing example, but you get the idea. Tank drifting is actually a thing. The major difference here in World of Tanks, however, is that it only happens when you want it to happen. And you do that by applying the handbrake. As you can see here, by default the handbrake is mapped to the spacebar. And that's quite important because it means that you can control when the tank is going to drift. And that's doubly important because the last thing you want is for the tank to slip and slide all over the place as if you were driving over an ice rink. The way that people were concerned about the way the tanks handled in, for example, War Thunder in arcade battle mode, when tanks were first introduced into that game, you don't get that here in World of Tanks. In fact, I'd even go so far as to say that unless you're specifically trying to make the tank do the new kind of tricks that motion physics allows you to do, most of the time while you're driving your tank, you're not even going to notice that motion physics have been introduced at all. You may notice, if you slam the handbrake on to come to a sudden stop and shoot, that the tank lurches forward as the weight moves forward onto the front of the suspension, more than you're used to it doing previously, but you may not even really notice that. And it's only when you're actively hitting that handbrake while moving at high speed and then pulling the tank around to the left or right that you're going to notice the tank doing new things. And of course, as with anything new that's introduced into World of Tanks, it isn't going to take too long before people learn how to start making the most advantage of it, particularly when it comes to reacting to a sudden threat popping up on the left or right flank and needing to get the front of your tank pointed around really quick in order to respond to it. Imagine a sudden threat appearing to my rear, and as quickly as that, tank and gun are now pointed in the correct direction. If you've had enough practice and you're feeling particularly adventurous, you can even power slide the tanks right around city street corners without ever once showing the side of the tank to the enemy waiting to shoot you on the other side. Of course, if you get it wrong, you're going to look pretty stupid and you're going to end up in all kinds of trouble, and I have absolutely no doubt that in the coming weeks and months I'm going to be featuring all kinds of fail compilations where people do try to power slide around street corners and end up with the back end of their tank pointing towards the enemy guns. But hey, we all got to start somewhere. And it does open up a whole new range of tactical possibilities, not least of which is the ability to completely flip a tank over. You've been able to do this in games like War Thunder for quite some time, and War Thunder introduced a mechanic of being able to attach a towing cable to a tank that had been flipped so that his teammates were able to help right them. There's no news on whether or not anything like that is going to be introduced in World of Tanks. Certainly at the moment, if you have managed to flip your tank over and you require assistance in righting yourself, then you're basically going to have to get bumped into again by friendly tanks. But here we go, tank flipping. Viewers of a nervous disposition are advised to look away now because you are about to see some extreme cruelty to small tanks. There she is. Here we come. Any second now. Boom! Yeah, you like that, don't you, bitch? So, anyway, motion physics in World of Tanks opens up a whole new bunch of possibilities, but the important factor to note is that you remain in control at all times, at least if you're doing it properly. And who knows, perhaps one day, coming soon to a PC near you, we'll be seeing scenes like this. Well, alright, maybe not. Take care folks, I'll catch you next time.